Hello and welcome back to her Hall of Mirrors. Today's movie is Men, which came out earlier this year and was directed by Alex Garland, who is best known for Ex Machina and Annihilation. These are both sci-fi films. Men is pretty much a surreal horror film with a tinge of folk horror. Before we continue, I want to let you know that I talk about chilling, mysterious, and sobering films in a soft-spoken voice because my videos are meant to relax you. I mostly watch drama, mystery, horror, and thriller films, so if this sounds good to you, then I hope you stick around. Back to the movie. So, Jessie Buckley plays a widow named Harper Marlowe. Harper decides to go on a solo vacation to a mansion in the countryside after an incredibly traumatic event. She's greeted by the eccentric owner, who's played by Rory Kinnear. He gives her a quick tour, which gets a little awkward at times, and then she's left to her own devices. She's supposed to be enjoying herself, but memories of the trauma will continue to resurface. One day, she goes for a walk in the woods. It begins raining, so she decides to head back, but something very strange happens. She comes upon this archway tunnel and calls out because, for whatever reason, she wants to hear her echo. It's this really strange moment where she seems to be in a trance, but she quickly snaps out of it when she realizes she's not alone. She's gone to the countryside to forget her worries, but won't be able to. She's gonna experience even more trauma. This is a really bizarre movie. I don't know if you have to be well versed in UK's paganism to understand it, or if it's just full of symbolism and hidden meaning. The movie started off one way and ended up being a mess, to be honest, but it's a good mess. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars because it's visually striking and both Jessie Buckley and Rory Kinnear did a great job. But I was kind of displeased with the direction that this film took after the first half. For some reason, I thought this was gonna have more elements of folk horror, but Alex Garland barely scratched the surface with that. So if you're expecting something like The Wicker Man or The Blood on Satan's Claw, you're not gonna get that. It ended up taking this very abstract turn, and I can't say I understood it, but I can definitely respect that because not everything has to be clear-cut to be enjoyable for me. I'm not gonna sit here and say I understood the hidden symbols and stuff. I mean, I'd like to believe I got most of it, but it's just very surreal. I do have a better understanding after watching a few analyses, but if you watch this and the hidden meanings are lost on you, you could probably still enjoy this because the cinematography is just that beautiful. There are these moments when the camera work gives you these glimpses of the countryside and they feel very ethereal. And the score worked very beautifully with these scenes, so everything felt so magical and creepy. My favorite part of this movie was the scene in the woods because it felt like Harper had entered another realm. When she calls out to hear her echo, her voice resounds in a very unnatural way, and it's both beautiful and uncanny. I find that when films pair beauty and eeriness like this, it keeps me in a constant state of tension because I can't trust what's going on. I always feel like something bad is gonna happen at any moment, and that's exactly how I felt when I watched this. Something else that amped up the creepiness was the fact that every male character except for her ex-husband was played by Rory Kinnear. And you will probably have already noticed that if you've watched the trailer. This was a nice surprise for me, but I think after a while it kind of detracted from the suspense and just added a goofy element, so that's one thing I didn't like about this movie. quite obvious why this choice was made, but I won't get into that in case it's not that obvious to you from the trailer. But I picked it up rather quickly, and I'm terrible at reading subtext. I just don't want to ruin things for you, so you should check it out yourself. I read reviews on Letterboxd and saw that several people were offended because they felt that the director had a certain message to convey about relationships and forgiveness, but I don't think it makes sense to ascribe that motive to him when I'm not inside his head. I think one of his goals may have been to shed light on the effects of unresolved trauma and remind us that our traumas will follow us no matter where we run to unless we're dealing with them appropriately. He explored upsetting issues like gaslighting and domestic violence, which unfortunately a lot of women will go through. So I think many people were upset because there wasn't this great moment of vindication for her. You can interpret the ending any which way, but I don't know, it didn't quite satisfy me. It's one of those movies that reiterates the obvious but doesn't really go deeper with its message. Take the title, for instance, Men. What does the trailer show you? A bunch of men psychologically tormenting a woman and pushing her over the edge. Okay, what else can you show us, you know? I just felt like it was too trite and predictable for me. The trailer pretty much shows you everything that goes on in the movie, so try not to watch it. I think if the film had focused on other aspects of Harper's life, it could have been much better. I'm obviously not a film critic, and I'm terrible at picking up subtext. I'm just here to make recommendations, really. So if you're like me, you're gonna be confused as hell. I don't recommend this film if symbolically laden movies piss you off, because you're just not gonna have a good time. I used to hate movies like this because they would make me feel stupid, but you can watch different analyses if the symbols are lost on you. And remember that the more you watch movies like this, the easier it becomes to recognize different messages and symbols. I still suck, but I'm getting better. Or at least I think I am. I must warn you that the third act includes a very graphic body horror sequence. Some of you might actually find it funny, but I was way too stunned to look away, and now I can't unsee it, so have fun with that one. I don't see myself rewatching this. I felt very meh about the ending, and this movie didn't live up to my expectations. The analyses I've watched went as far as I needed to, and I don't think I would get much from a second viewing. Reached the end of this video. I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope you'll join me in the next one.